So we discussed few things about Bluetooth. I'll just recall the concept. So it is defined to be, my slides are visible, ma'am? I've shared everything.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
Bluetooth concept, Bluetooth is one of the communication technology. It is of short range radio protocols, and Zigbee, it is a low power communication protocol, and 6LoWPAN is also low power communication protocol, and IPv6 internet communication protocol, and RPL routing protocol for low power and lossy network, and COPE is said to be the constrained application protocol. Okay. So followed by that, I told something about Bluetooth detailedly on that class. So this is mainly depends on personal area network. So your communication should be within few meters, right? So based on wired or wireless, the things will be functioning. And so a wired PAN uses USB or an IEEE 1394 interface for providing network connectivity. And we have different technologies like infrared, Bluetooth, ultra wideband, and home RF, Z Wave, and Zigbee with this wireless, right? Wireless band. And followed by that, we discuss features of Bluetooth. It's IEEE 802.15.1 standard, and this defines a radio-based, short-range, low-power wireless communication technology. And this was conceived and developed by Ericsson as a cable replacement technology. Okay, so which could be capable of communicating all your peripherals and various accessories like a headphone, keyboard to the devices, laptop, desktop, mobile phone, tablets, whatever. Right. So it could be capable of communicating with the Bluetooth, as you know. And Bluetooth network operates like a seamless peer-to-peer. We discussed things about peer-to-peer and what do you mean by self-configurable. Once you have done all the connection physically as well as logically, automatically it will provide the connection, right? Seamless. And I told something about a point-to-point connection where one node is act as a server, the remaining would be the clients, and the this would be applicable for all the nodes where we have connected, like a star topology is one example we discussed about peer-to-peer. And there are few models of models for Bluetooth network: cable replacement, data access, and peer-to-peer ad hoc connection. And these are the challenges of Bluetooth. It's a flexible application topology, like flexibility, right? You know what's the meaning of flexibility, which could be capable of communicating on a easier manner, right? Easier manner. So we have, as a user, we could be capable of providing connection in a smoother manner. There won't be any tough task here. And self-configurable, as I told you, even with the constraints of selective connectivity requirements, Bluetooth should still be self-configurable. And QoS is the main factor, quality of service. So the Bluetooth must be able to provide QoS support for voice communications also. And low power operation, small form factor, and low cost. Okay, so comparatively it is low cost only. And small form factor in the sense adding Bluetooth capabilities should not cause an increase in size of the devices. Okay, so the performance should be enhanced, right? And we discussed few things about Piconet and Scatternet. What do you mean by Piconet? A set of Bluetooth nodes sharing a common channel consists of at most 8 nodes organized in the form of star topology. There we discussed the concept of a master slave, and where one is in a standby mode, what is the thing, and other devices within the Piconet will be considered as a park, right? So I have given uh, the detailed description with the help of sniff and hold information. So the sniff can be capable of transmitting your data on specific intervals, whereas the whole state, no data transmission would take place, right? And I told you, if we are combining or merging two or more piconets to form a scaternets, so it is possible to communicate all the master as well as the slave. Okay, so it acts as a node common to two piconets will act as a bridge. And I told you about set, how the things would be common, right? A intersection B. Okay, so that is one thing we discussed here. And these are the things what you should know, how the packet format of that, and what is the slot time. What do you mean by slot? For everything I have given few references. Okay, yes. This is what access code, one more thing. I think access code we haven't discussed on the day. So channel access code and device access code, two things are there. So what is channel access code means? This identifies a Piconet with a master's ID. So all packets sent over the same Piconet channel will have the same channel access code. Okay, so that is the concept behind channel access. And device in the sense, this is used for special signaling requirements such as paging and response to paging. Okay, so particular device for the particular device. And inquiry is another access code available in Bluetooth. General inquiry is there and a dedicated group is there. Okay. So general is if commonly we are providing some connection and whether that particular two things, for example, your mobile phone as well as your PC, if it is communicated, we are calling it as general. And dedicated in the sense, this is used to inquire about group of devices that share a common characteristics. Okay. And these are the various limitation, what I got it from different resource. So it supports medium to high data rates for text, audio, video, everything. And this is applicable IEEE 802.15.1. It's a wireless standard using Bluetooth for marketing and compliance and targeted the segment of consumer communication application. So if you are going to manipulate your project task, whether the Bluetooth feature would be useful for you, so you can make use of it. You can provide the connection. Okay, ma'am. So this document actually I discussed in last class with components as a whole. What are the components in Internet of Things? So I have separated one by one, and this was available in your course page about Bluetooth DDILD. Okay, so this is the first component, and what are the communication modules, everything, communication technology, everything I have highlighted here. Fine. So this is what we discussed in last class. Followed by that, we have a different communication technology here, as I highlighted in the first slide of the Bluetooth. We'll see one by one in further classes. Okay. So next we shall come for Wi-Fi. So what is Wi-Fi? Anybody can give me an example for Wi-Fi? Yeah. Rahul Reddy.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Can you give me an example for Wi-Fi connection? Okay, whatever. Any real-time example can you give me? Okay, fine. Any other, ma? Any other?
Ma'am, the home automation.
Abiral Goyal. Abiral, can you say? See, how we are using Wi-Fi? That's what I'm asking. You're using Wi-Fi, right? All of you are using Wi-Fi. Fine. How you are using? How you are connecting and what type of basic requirements, what we need, something like that.
I'm a modem.
You're having, yeah, Surinder Singh, you have answer with me. Sorry, you have answer with you.
We have basic.
Yeah. Share your views about the Wi-Fi.
We have a router and Ethernet cable.
Good.
From the basic.
Yeah.
Requirement of the.
So that is basic requirement. Anything else you know about Wi-Fi? Okay, ma, fine. Thank you, Surinder. And anybody else? Okay, fine. So we'll come for the concepts what I have collected for you. So wireless fidelity, Wi-Fi. Okay, Wi-Fi. My slides are visible, ma?
Yeah.
Yes. So Wi-Fi, it's a commonly used short communication technology in IoT. Okay. So what is said, as you said, we have a router which should be capable of having a particular address. So there we can fetch the information with the help of internet protocols. And those router, with the help of the router, we could be capable of communicating with the devices what we have at our home. For example, I am connecting my PC, and my daughter is connecting her laptop, and at the same time my husband is working with this system. Okay, so something. So we have a set of connection which would be capable of accessing with a single IP, right? Internet protocol. Only one internet protocol is possible to provide n number of connection, right? So wireless fidelity, Wi-Fi connection. So this is the commonly used short communication technology in IoT. Okay, and wireless fidelity is a generic term that refers to IEEE 802.11 communication standards for wireless local area networks. Okay, if you want to provide a connection within a certain range, right? What do you mean by LAN? Local area network, right? So within certain range. So this is possible. And this is an alternative to wired technology. Okay, so which is commonly used for connecting devices in wireless mode. And we need definitely a physical layer and data link layer. What is the function of physical layer? It is the layer which provides some standard connection, right? So physically those things should be connected, communicated. And the data link layer emphasizes that the data should be transmitted from source to destination. Okay. So next comes what are the things we are using for Wi-Fi. So the Wi-Fi networks use radio technology to transmit and receive data at high speed. Okay, so this is what we need as people. As we are using online, we need good internet connection, right, with a high speed, and we could be capable of retrieving all the information in a faster manner, right? So that's what we expected. So there are different things available for Wi-Fi technology, like IEEE, some standards, the different standards are available. IEEE 802.11b, IEEE 802.11a, G and N. Okay, so these are the specifications what we are using for Wi-Fi technology. We will see one by one. So IEEE 802.11b, this operates at 2.4 gigahertz radio spectrum. Okay, and its theoretical speed is 11 Mbps within 30-meter range. And the actual speed of this standard is 4 to 6 megabits per second, and the range of feet is about 100 to 150. So we could be capable of providing Wi-Fi connection with all these features if you are using a standard call IEEE 802.11b. And interference from mobile phones and Bluetooth devices which can reduce the transmission speed. And this is least expensive and most popular. Okay, so these are the characteristics of 802.11b. The next comes A. This operates at 5 gigahertz and theoretical speed is 54 megabits per second and actual speed is 15 to 20. And this is more expensive and feed range is about 50 to 75. So here we have a feed is 100 to 150. So this is not compatible with 802.11b as it is more expensive. Okay. And the next comes G, which combines the features of both A and B standard. So it is having feed range and its speed is also 54 megabits per second. And this have the frequency range of 2.4 gigahertz radio frequencies. Okay. So what I said for the prayer case. And which standard, you can ask which standard is right. So each and everything may have different features. So wireless B, wireless A, wireless G. Each and everything is having different properties. So this is one of the resource what I got it from Google. This is lowest price, excellent signal range, coverage penetrates most walls, works with public hotspots. So this is about B. And coming for A, this it supports more users per room and unaffected by interference from 2.4 gigahertz devices. If that is the wavelength, that is okay. Frequency range, that's okay. And can coexist with both the networks, B and G networks. Coverage limited to one room. And the next thing, best value, only 10% premium for five times the speed of wireless B. So this is compatible with wireless B networks as well as the hotspots what we are using now. An excellent signal range and coverage penetrates most walls. Okay, so we can't say each and everything may have the features. If you want to make choose your wireless in an economical way, or if you want to make use for a high speed transmission purpose, even though it is expensive, okay, no problem for us. So some features are there. So which is compatible or which is good for your requirements, so based on that we are choosing. Okay, so during exam times and all, right, we are monitoring the performance of the students, so we need a high speed transmission, right? So that is one requirement. So based on that we are making use of that wireless connections. And how the, so these are the, what we discussed so far is said to be the features, and what about some intro about Wi-Fi. Okay, so a Wi-Fi connection works through a transmitting antenna. As you know, it works through a transmitting antenna, which is usually connected to a DSL or cable internet connection, right? So the antenna on the router will then beam the radio signals through a specific range, and we can make use of certain devices which could receive the signal. Okay, so that is what given here, and you can see this is a small diagram. So I have used here 802.11 11.1 and 802.11a. Okay, so which could be capable of accessing your information via the access points, what is said as router. Okay, so this will receive the information from the internet connection, right? So this is how the Wi-Fi network works. This is a simple diagram. So you can draw some diagram which you know, and you can search it from in your book also. One diagram is available. So based on that you can draw it, and you can explain the concept. Okay, so whatever may be the concept, you can draw a small laptop, or how the devices or wireless devices are connected. Okay, so in order to provide this efficient connection, we need definitely an access point, Wi-Fi cards, and safeguards. Okay, so these are said to be the elements of Wi-Fi network. So the access point is a wireless LAN transceiver or base station that can connect one or more many wireless devices simultaneously to the internet. Okay, so we are using daily internet, so we know something about this access point, I think, right? So we could be capable of providing connection, and we could be capable of receiving the information via this access point. Okay, so which transceives the signals. And the next is Wi-Fi card. They accepts the wireless signal and relay information. So this can be external and internal. So we can use different types of Wi-Fi cards. Okay, so if I'm using laptop and desktop PCs, or your normal PCs, everything is there, right? Systems. The next is safeguards. The firewalls and antivirus software protect networks from uninvited users and keep the information in a secure manner. Okay, so this is, as you know, we need some privacy as well as security. And there are different types of network topologies are also available for this Wi-Fi. Access based topology, access point based topology, that is called as infrastructure mode, and peer-to-peer topology, that is said to be ad hoc mode, and third one is point to multipoint bridge topology. So what is that access point based topology? So I brought a few small diagram for your better understanding. So the client communicate through access point, and basic service area radio frequency coverage provided by access point. And this is like, you can see the diagram. You have access point for channel 1 and channel 6. Okay, so I brought a small diagram, and the wireless call is there. So some handheld devices, laptop, desktops, everything is there. And the overlapping, how the overlapping between these two things, extended service area, it consists of 2 or more BSAs. So basic service area radio frequency, this is covered by provided by the access points. So the overlapping may occur to 10 to 15%. So ESA cell includes 10 to 15% overlapping to allow the roaming. So we have a switch, router, LAN, WAN, what type of connections we are fetching from the Wi-Fi technology. Okay, ma? So you can bring no problem. You can use using the access point. You can bring any diagram to explain this AP based topology, right? The next is peer-to-peer. As we discussed in last class, we are calling each node as a point. So the access point is not required here. Client devices within a cell can communicate directly with each other, and this is useful for setting up of a wireless network quickly and easily. Peer-to-peer, okay, point-to-point network. And this is a small layout which emphasizes peer-to-peer. Okay. Then one more thing is point to multi-point bridge topology. You see, this is used to connect a LAN in one building to LANs in other buildings, even if the buildings are miles apart. These conditions receives a clear line of sight between the buildings. Suppose if you want to develop your project for smart city, okay, so this type of topology will be very much useful, providing Wi-Fi connection. And the line of sight range varies based on the type of wireless bridge and antenna used as well as the environmental conditions. So you can see in this diagram we have a headquarter. Access point is there for a factory. Access point is there for one building and another building. Okay. So how it is receiving the signal via the access point is given. Okay. So via the server, how that. So this is from one access point we are sharing for all the things or all the points where it is actually connected with. Okay, so this was said to be some branches. So with this your Wi-Fi features and what about Wi-Fi is over. So I have brought down few things which is available in your book plus some diagram, something like that. So if you're searching in Google, you may have some concepts like this, right? You can see what is the importance of Wi-Fi, and yeah, it is so standards. What are the features we discussed? Everything is available. Price is also available, but I have not specified that. If you want, you can go through. Depends, right? Depends on the thing. We can have a Wi-Fi plans, right? So many plans are there also. And where it is used, like Wi-Fi application. So I discussed a few applications with access point and with peer-to-peer technology. And one more thing is with multi-point topology, right? So we discussed three methods. Plus, if you want to detailedly, if you want to know and how it would be applied for your project, you can go for certain things like this and you can search. Okay. So applications, as I said, applications of Wi-Fi technology leads to mobile, business, home, computerized, everything, right? So wherever we are accessing that Wi-Fi, it is said to be a very good example. So, okay, if you want, you can go through further if you are using that particular component. Okay, ma'am? Fine. Okay, do you have any doubt on that Bluetooth and wireless fidelity Wi-Fi? Okay, fine. And I think if you are calm, I could understand you don't have any doubt. Fine. One more application we discussed as we have time. This is very simple protocol. Constrained application protocol, right? Constrained application protocol. So this is defined to be a specialized internet application protocol for constrained devices as defined in RFC 7252. Okay. So what is RFC 7252? I'll tell you. So this was some what to say, some standards. We have certain standards which is meant for specific applications. Specific application. So RFC 7252 it is said to be the constrained application protocol. Yeah, I'll go to it. It will be, I have some idea. So here what is actually they are giving, this is another tool. They have developed a tool in the first website. We don't want that. So the constrained application protocol, it's said to be the origin server, the server on which a given resource resides or it to be created. Okay. So intermediary, a COAP endpoint that acts both a server and acts as a client towards an origin server. Okay, so that is the thing behind RFC 752. So as I said, in Wi-Fi, we have 802.11 A standard, B standard, G standard, N standard, something like that we discussed, right? So something like that, we have certain standards for all the protocols as well as the components and communication technology we are using in the second unit. And each and everything may have their features, right? So this is meant for a certain set of specific application, okay? So if you're searching for constrained application protocol in Wikipedia, this is a specialized internet application protocol for constrained devices. So we have a certain set of nodes to communicate with wider internet using similar protocols. Okay, so this is one thing. So from all these resources only I brought this slide, so you can go through. So it enables those constrained devices called nodes. We are calling it as a node or point to communicate with a wider internet using similar protocol. Okay, and this is used. This COPE is designed for use between the devices on the same network, same constrained network, between the devices and general nodes on the internet, and between the devices on different constrained networks both joined by the internet. Okay, so as I said, in PicoNet we discussed one example, that is a set of nodes and a master will be there, and it could be capable of communicating or merging two or more PicoNets. So that is said to be scatternet. So similar like that, we have the COPE is specialized internet application protocol for specific purpose, okay, which could be capable of communicating within a certain set of nodes or to other criteria nodes also, other network also. It is possible. So that is what given in the third statement. And the next thing is the COPE is also being used via other mechanisms such as SMS, right? You are using that on mobile communication networks. Okay, this is one of the application. Continue with the first slide. We have a COPE is a service layer protocol that is intended for use in resource constrained internet devices such as wireless sensor network nodes. So it acts as a service. It performs some service in wireless sensor network. And this is designed to easily translate to hypertext transfer protocol for simplified integration with the web, and which could be capable of providing multicast support, right? So where we have the thing should be communicated multiply, okay? So more number of occurrences, and very low overhead and simplicity, okay? If it is designed to translate via HTTP request, hypertext transfer protocol. And this is extremely important for this multicast, low overhead and simplicity. These are the features of COPE protocol, which could be important for IoT, machine-to-machine devices. We haven't discussed machine-to-machine. We'll have it in further classes, which tend to be deeply embedded and have less memory and power supply than the traditional internet devices have. Okay, so efficiency is required, and COPE can run on most devices which support user datagram protocol also. So we discussed about TCP and UDP. So UDP is required here. And this is the architectural diagram of COPE protocol. You can see we discussed something about REST. REST in first introduction module. There we have different types of connections, right? So we discussed there about REST. You can refer. And this is the COPE environment. We have a COPE server and different clients are there. We have access point and your mobile. Okay. So based on that, the COPE could be communicated. And this is said to be the request. What is requested by the REST COPE proxy to the internet. So this is said to be HTTP communication. So it will provide a connection for the COPE environment. So that is what given here. It is, yeah. So this is based on REST architecture. I think you could remember the REST. You can go through there in the first module, which is a general design for accessing your internet resources. And URA, I told you about a uniform resource identifier, right? What we are using as a address, right? Uniform resource identifier. So for each and every unique identity, we have this uniform resource identifier. So we have certain things like get, post, put, and delete. So which could be applicable for this functions of a COPE. And I told you about UDP protocol also. So that also it satisfies the group communication for IoT. And what is the message format for this COPE? So this is the format, message format for this COPE. We have certain versions and code, message ID, token options, payload. We have a set of data to transmit. Okay. And finally comes what are the types of messages. The COPE defines 4 types of messages. One is confirmable, another one is non-confirmable, third one is acknowledgement, and fourth is reset. So the method codes and response codes included in some of these messages make them carry request or responses. So the basic exchanges of these 4 types of messages are transparent to request response interaction. So what do you mean by confirmable, non-confirmable, acknowledgement and reset? What is that actually? Whenever we are sending the information from source to destination, destination, so it is one of the protocol. I told you it utilizes user datagram protocol. And we discussed few features of user datagram protocol. It is a connectionless oriented services provided. So there is no acknowledged signal properly. There is no handshaking mechanism. So something like that. The things would be confirmable, whether whatever we are sending, the packets are sending from source to destination, whether everything reaches the destination or not, it should be confirmed. Okay. So that is said to be one type of message. Non-confirm, it reaches, but we couldn't receive any information, right? So that is said to be non-confirmable. Acknowledgement in the sense, it is like your TCP, but not for all the requests. If the client is requesting, the acknowledgement would be respond for the particular client. Okay. And reset is said to be if some interruptions or the things cannot be moved further or proceeds further, perform further, we should be capable of resetting. So all the things, 4 types of messages could be done with the help of request response interactions. Okay, so these are the informations what I have collected for you regarding this scope protocol. Okay, so this is a simple and small small set of features we have. So I took one Wi-Fi today and COPE. Okay, so Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, COPE. These 3 things are available in your course page. Plus, if you need something detailedly and what are the applications as I discussed for a Wi-Fi, if you want, you can go through further and what type of technology you are going to make use for your project task.